So I finally played The Witcher 3 and I loved it. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time, and 10 years later, it holds up and feels amazing to play. I think it's super fun to have your choices matter so much in games, and Witcher 3 is the pinnacle of that mechanic. The game is incredibly immersive and developed, but if you're watching this, you probably already know that. Unless you're a father trying to find out what game to get your kid, you probably know everything I could say about this game. I love the combat, the characters, the world building, the environment, the enemy diversity, and the progression. The traversal is fairly wonky, I will admit, but to me that's not enough to turn me away from the game. The map is a good size to where you can fast travel to most places and not need to be running or riding on horseback for too long. The Witcher 3 is a game you could spend hours and hours in, and to be fair, I did. My playthrough came to about 97 hours after playing the main story and the 2 DLCs. Which, can we talk about those DLCs for a second? I don't mean to overly glaze it, but the Hearts of Stone DLC has such a good story and presents such an incredibly nuanced choice between 2 very complex characters. I don't want to spoil the elements of the story, but you can obviously find them elsewhere and you'll see what I mean. Moving back to the main story, I will say, not knowing anything about the Witcher universe, I was really hoping the Wild Hunt were some like mystical dope looking undead, kind of like the Lich King from World of Warcraft. So to see there were elves, I was like, oh, okay. But it was still cool, and I enjoyed the story of finding Ciri and escaping the Wild Hunt. I just gotta say, I like the main story beats of Hearts of Stone and Blood of Wine more. I don't know if that opinion will get me crucified by the fans or the subreddit, but it's just something I felt upon beating the main story and the DLCs. The main story is still great for a pair of fresh eyes and has a lot of great elements as you go through it. Gameplay progression wise, I wouldn't say you need to look up like build guides or anything, but it definitely does help. I was fairly lost when I was in the first 10 levels or so, but I did kill this random level 15 boss when I was like level 7 after whittling it down for like 30 minutes. So there is a lot of freedom with both your build and your progression in the game. And do not think I forgot about Gwent. Gwent was and is my favorite part of the game. I was definitely really sad to see that the Gwent independent game that they released was far different from the one in-game, but the Gwent in-game is so fun, and it's a nice break from all the slaying monsters and having huge weight on your decisions. I also just love the prospect of telling an NPC like, oh, you lost your wife, how about a game of Gwent? But yeah, with the lens of 2025, this game is still worth playing and incredibly good. You can spend so long in the game doing so many different things and just get lost in the sauce. It does go on sale frequently enough for so cheap that it honestly feels like you're stealing from the developers. I'm pretty sure when I bought it, it was like $4, and then I later on bought the 2 DLCs for an additional like 10. So I would definitely recommend giving it a shot or starting a replay if you're feeling it.